All right, traders. So watch this video for Monday, September 10th. I'm going to call this the first day of trading again because the summer's behind us. We got the Labor Day weekend and the short week after that behind us. I'm not suggesting that volume pours back into the market, but I am optimistic that trading participation becomes a little bigger. All right, so it's sort of like I saw somebody tweeted we're in the last few minutes of the seventh inning stretch, and that's kind of this period. Now, it hasn't always been that way. August of 2016 was the best month I ever had trading. So it doesn't mean every summer in the end, and the Labor Day weekend is always going to be dead. But man, this summer it was. You'll always see people tweeting, what's he talking about? Best summer of my life and so on. But I'm in front of my screens every day, and it's been pretty dead and very little follow through for day traders. Obviously, the market overall is pretty strong. Anyway, showing you the SPY here, pulling back again to the 20-day, and we'll see if it holds. Again, I don't live and die by the SPY, but you always want to glance at it and see how the overall market looks when you're getting ready to start a new trading week. So here's what I'm watching for Monday. Hang on one second. I realized last week that I caught myself saying this like in I don't know, 50% of my videos. So I thought, why don't you just put it in writing and put it on a graphic? Because I don't, I used to get emails. Oh, what are you talking about? This chart is the ugliest chart I've ever seen, and you have it on long watch for tomorrow. And that might be, maybe I've got looking for a snapback bounce on something that's getting killed or whatever. So I want everybody to understand when you're watching my videos, I am not showing you all these charts saying every one of them is bullish and buy them and they're going to go up from here. I'm a day trader, all right? So read that. And that way I won't have to say it every video. All right, so ARWR, with that in mind, watching this week, had the big spike, and then it gave back a lot of its intraday move on Thursday, but then on Friday, it gapped up a little bit, had kind of an inside candle. So for me, I'm still going to watch it for a long. I did not trade that one on Friday, but I think it's still worth keeping on watch. BLPH, this is a weird one. Huge gap down, sideways for like a couple weeks, and then it rips. Now sideways for a few weeks, and then it ripped again. I didn't see this one on Friday, but I think it's worth watching. There's enough passion there in that move from 80 cents to almost $1.20 before settling in right around $1. Plus that whole number, $1, might become an inflection point, depending on if and when it sets up on Monday. Absolutely worth having on a chart. SDPI had this big volume spike on Thursday. I want to point out that this big volume stick here still isn't even 1.5 million shares. So it shows you how dead this stock is, but it did hold up pretty well on Friday. So this one might have a third day move. We will see, right? GEVO had a kind of a weird day, just trending along sideways, and I think they came out with an upgrade. God, I can't remember what house it was, but an upgrade to like $10 on this thing. So on an intraday basis, as a matter of fact, I tweeted about this. I'm going to pause this and find that slide. There it is. So this, I just put this out because I thought it was a pretty good lesson for day traders, right? It had this big volume spike on the upgrade. Okay, so you have to picture as this is unfolding, this is just a green candle that's pushing higher and higher in real time, and I can't get myself to chase, nor should I, nor should anyone. So what I can do is watch and see if it gives me a setup, right? So I actually threw out a bid. When I heard the news and I saw the volume, I threw out a bid at 409 trying to catch the first pullback. Not very scientific there, but I thought it was certainly worth a bid right there. And it almost came back to that. It went to like 412 or 413 right there. So I didn't get filled, but I left that bid in place for a little bit. Okay, so then when it chops around, it really had my attention. It looked like it was wrong. I thought, oh, maybe I'm going to get filled here, and it was right back up. So after watching it, these are 1-minute candles. After watching it for a few minutes, I'm starting to think, okay, I'm not going to get filled, but it's giving a nice little 1-minute flag here. So I ended up, as it was breaking this flag, got filled long at 429 or 430, right in there. And as you can see, it made almost $500 on this pop right here. But the lesson there, and this isn't really what this watch list for tomorrow is about, but the lesson there is never chase and then see if it gives you a setup, right? You have a choice. After it makes a big move, you can buy the first pullback, which is what I was trying to do. Again, I had a bid right here. And then that kind of keeps you involved in watching the stock too, if you think about it, right? Because if you're not getting filled, you can kind of get the sense that, okay, there's buyers stepping in and this is forming a nice flag, so it's probably higher from here. So I even left my bid there, went long here, scaled out, and then somewhere along the line while I was trading it, I canceled this bid because it gave me my profitable trade I was looking for. But I didn't chase, and I took a nice low risk entry right there. I would have stopped it below this green candle. So anyway, having said all that, I want to watch this one. Let's go back to the daily here. I want to watch this one. It's kind of you can picture a kind of a cup and handle going on, or no, maybe a cup and handle from here, or an inverse head and shoulders, if you're a stickler for having a name for a setup. But certainly big volume on Friday, and it closed well off its high, so I'm not that bullish on it, but absolutely going to watch this one all week. Nice volume on that upgrade. MNKD, I still like this one. Had the gap up, the rip, then another gap up, reversal, 2 days lower, volume's getting smaller. I still like this one for a potential turn back up tomorrow. I had it on watch on Friday, but it didn't give a setup, so I didn't trade it. NBEV, okay, I'm not in love with this one, NBEV, but, there's speculation that cannabis-infused Bob Marley beverage might come out or something. They tested a cannabis beverage in Colorado, which was on one of their slides from one of their presentations, which is literally what spiked this, especially, remember the crypto days, right? When somebody would come out and say, we're getting into Bitcoin or blockchain. All they had to do was have their name, that word in their name, and the stock would go crazy. That's kind of how it is right now with cannabis, pot stocks. So you had this big spike, and now it's a couple days lower. Big volume on the reversal day. But I still think if pot stocks get moving, or if there's any news at all about this thing, I think they've got an offering kind of hovering over their head too. Rumors of, or maybe news of. So, keep that in mind. And it's not like I'm going to ever just jump in a stock for no reason anyway. I always have to have a reason. I always say I can give you 2 or 3 reasons based on the chart for every entry I take. And it's no different in this one. But if it does give me a decent intraday setup, it's kind of set up where it hasn't completely round tripped from where the passion started. And if pot stocks get moving, or any whiff of something out of the company about a cannabis beverage, I think this thing could rip, with pot stocks being as crazy as they are. Having said all that, I'm going to move on to the next one now. IGC, speaking of pot stocks, this is another one that ran with the craze. Huge move, and now we're down, 5-6 days in a row. Smack in that area that I look for a turn between the 8 and the 20. So, again, if pot stocks get moving, I like this one a lot more than I have, because to me, it's pulled back to an area where I'm interested now, right? It's pulled back enough to where if it's going to turn, it should do it around here. ADVM had this really nice pop here. 2 days, it ran, it gapped up and opened this day at 650, and over the course of 1-2 sessions, it went to 772. That's a really nice percentage move, and now 4 or 5 days in a row back down to that area again between the 8 and the 20. Nice green day on Friday, so pretty good setup for a potential long. A couple more. INSY. I didn't love this one because it round tripped and then some after this huge move. But, you could argue, well, hey, it round tripped and came all the way back down to support, filled the gap, and then we had a green day on Friday. So maybe a potential long on this one on Monday. And then lastly, CVM, which had a huge move on Thursday, then Friday, gap down, but closed strong again. So even though this thing's like straight up from 80 cents and went to 440, it's holding up pretty darn well and deserves our attention. All right, so I definitely want to watch this one. I'm going to leave it at that. That's plenty to watch. We're going to add gappers in the pre-market on Monday morning. So between this list and the gappers, man, there's plenty to watch. And I'm kind of glad the whole summer's behind us. Even if it's thin out there, I think it's going to progressively get better, with each passing week. All right, I'm done babbling. We'll see everybody on Monday.